Hey yogis, what is up? Welcome to day 6. The pose of the day today is forearm stand. So we'll be going through a warm-up, and the only props you'll need are your mat and, if you have it, a block and a strap. So stay tuned and meet me in hero's pose on your knees, sitting on top of your heels. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers and bring them to one side. Feel your head lean away from the shoulder and take a few deep breaths. You can swivel your chin down towards the armpit or up towards the ceiling. And then we'll start to switch sides now, bringing both fingers interlaced to the other side of the body. Once again, breathing deeply. Lengthening through the neck, you can swivel your chin from one side to the other side. You may wish to do this again on the right and on the left, depending on how tight your neck is. My neck, personally, is very tight. And I'm just really trying to cross my arm behind my back as much as I can. Crossing my arm behind my back as much as I can. Trying to find length and breathe. Press your palms together, reach overhead on an inhale. As you exhale, drop your thumbs down between your shoulder blades and trace your hands back in front of the face to heart center. Hands lower down. Inhale, hands reach up, repeat. Exhale, reach the hands back between the shoulder blades. Inhale, hold, open up a little bit more. And exhale, glide the hands down in front of the body and eventually down to the legs. Repeating, inhale, coming up. Open shoulders, exhale, thumbs reaching down. Inhale, opening up a little bit deeper, holding. Exhale, holding. Just continue to slowly loosen up the neck, lowering down your arms at this point. And let's come onto our hands and knees now. If you have a block, grab a hold. Place it out in front of the body and lower down onto your forearms, gently hugging the block with the palms of the hands. You can widen your elbows and your knees a little bit further apart than a traditional tabletop. And start to melt your chest, your heart, towards the floor with an emphasis on keeping the shoulders rotating outward. Lots of space maintained around the neck. Try to keep the points of the elbows pointing straight down and rather than wrapping out to the sides. Take a nice hold here. Feel the lat muscles, the armpits open. Keep your ears in line with your biceps and take large, deep, expansive breaths. Maybe you lift your chin and start to look forward. Feeling the space where your bra line is, the space between your shoulder blades, start to melt down towards the floor. All the while keeping the elbows extended long and pointing down, the palms pressing in. Breathe. Reaching your tailbone up, reaching your chin forward. Let's take a few breaths and just feel your body start to soften, start to melt into this open heart, preparing us for our forearm stand. Opening the shoulders greatly helps us to extend the shoulders. Start to shift forward on your next breath in. And lower the hips down into a Sphinx pose. Lift the crown of the head, shift the neck around. Keep the shoulders driving down. Press yourself back and pass through your melted heart position, keeping your knees digging into the mat as they are. You can scoot them forward just the slightest bit if you need for leverage, and create traction, starting to draw the tailbone down and back toward the heels, allowing the body to slowly transition into a child's pose. Take a moment to really round and lengthen through your back body as you settle the forehead and reach the hands back towards the feet. Deep breaths here. Let the elbows hang heavy towards the mat. Let the shoulder blades spread and the neck lengthen. And just breathe. Let these muscles relax. Let them rest and recover. Maybe creating small circles with the scapula. Let's start to come up now. You can take your block out in front of the body. And let's just, once again, align our arms parallel. Take your right hand up onto the block and thread your left arm underneath. Spinal twist. I'm using the block to elevate my hand just so that there's more room for my head. Another great option is to hook that right arm behind the back, reaching for your opposite hip. Opening up, spiraling the chest. Take a deep inhale and reach this arm back out in front of the body. Start to unthread the arm. Inhale again, open twist, and reach towards the other block. Let's switch sides. Threading the right arm underneath, reaching the left arm overhead. Spinal twist, looking under the armpit and hooking our left arm behind the back. You can choose to keep your hand on the block or to hook your arm behind the back. This truly is a matter of preference. Inhale, left arm rainbows back over the top towards the block in front of the body. Take a deep inhale, open the right arm, and place both hands back out in front. We can move the block off the mat over to the side now. Spreading the fingers, let's set up for our downward facing dog. Dropping our head, lifting our tail, and pedaling through the legs. Gently pressing your heart back towards your shins, taking the shoulder stretch here. Let's play with backstroke motions, almost like you were swimming. Taking your right arm, reaching towards the hip, and your left arm towards the hip. Feel your weight transfer from right to left, leading with your pinky and stabilizing. You can see here I'm demonstrating a more advanced option, a little bit more challenging with the balance. We can lift one leg up to three-legged dog, let's say the right leg, and then the left arm can move through the same backstroke type of movement. Maybe the left leg lifts and the right arm circles. And then as you get a little bit more calibrated with this movement, as you get active in your core and extended in your shoulders, maybe you're able to simultaneously backstroke and lift at the same time. In this down dog, continue to lift your hips up as high as you can and breathe. Now I'm demonstrating a spinal flow. Inhaling, tucking the pelvis, shifting forward. Legs stay straight. Exhale, tailbone reaches up, heart melts. Continue to go through this pattern of tucking your pelvis and transferring weight from feet to hands. And then reaching your tailbone up and transferring from hands to feet. Notice that my head is a continuation of this wave. It's okay to give a little bit of softness in the knees if that helps you transfer and push weight. Don't worry about what you look like here. This takes a little bit to figure out. However, it feels really good on the spine. And when you're done, we can lower down into a momentary child's pose. Just resting the shoulders, resting the hips, lengthening the neck. Good. Let's start to come up now. Grab your block once again and lower down onto your forearms. We're going to play with forearm plank. Your thumbs and your pointer fingers can squeeze the bottom two corners of the block as you step your feet back and lower your hips to the height of your shoulders. Start to rock forward and backwards using your ankles and your shoulders to hinge and shift. And what I want you to feel is that you're leaning your shoulders in front of your elbows, really activating your core, and then pushing back through the front of your deltoid, the front of your shoulder. This is the muscle responsible for holding the shoulder joint open. And this is what greatly helps us have pushing power in our pincha, in our forearm stand. Do this about 20 times, as I just showed here. And then interlace your fingers, bring them together with the palms, and tuck your toes under, lifting your hips up, finding your dolphin pose. Press your heart back towards your shins, activate your core. You can bend and straighten. You can rock forward and back, but feel this weight in your shoulders. Feel that the head is off the ground. You can swivel. Be playful with your down dogs and your dolphin poses. Scooting your toes back, inhaling, coming forward into forearm plank again. And once again, lowering down and passing through child's pose, coming up to sitting tall. At this point in the warm-up, I'd like you to take your mat and to move it perpendicular with the wall. Align the front edge of your mat just a few inches away, and the two props that will help us are our block. And I'm actually using here a booty band. So the resistance bands that you can put on your legs for lower body workouts. If you grab the strongest resistance one, then typically they're pretty small. And I've found for my body personally, it is the perfect distance and the perfect resistance for conditioning forearm stand and keeping my elbows parallel with my shoulders. So a block and a booty band or a regular yoga strap will do you fine here. You can see here my buddy Dexter is coming to say hello and give me a visit. And I've placed the booty band or the strap just above my elbows so that my elbows are shoulders distance, and the block is in between my hands, just like in forearm plank. We can practice kicking up, utilizing a wall behind us for safety, looking at the space between our hands, really pushing the floor away, and taking rests in between. Think of a dolphin pose. So you can use the block, you can interlace the fingers, you can press the palms down. This is really up to your preference. Eventually, it's nice to have parallel arms, but that may take a little while to get there. So tuck your toes under, lift your hips, one leg forward, one leg back. The leg that's straight kicks, and the leg that's bent jumps and then kicks towards the wall. Lifting up through your core, pushing down through your elbows, through your shoulders. Practice doing this anywhere from 5 to 10 times, making sure that you don't feel any sharp pain in your shoulders and that your head is staying lifted off the floor. When you're done, take a solid moment to just roll your shoulders out. I personally really like to press my hands against the wall and push my heart down towards the floor. Reaching the tailbone up, curling my chin to my chest, I personally can find some self-adjusting pops in my very upper back, under my neck. That always feels really good. You can do this several times, as many times as you'd like, really. And this is our warm-up for forearm stand. The very last thing that is a really useful exercise in any person's inversion training, and this is a pretty versatile skill. It's called a wall handstand or an L wall handstand. And this just builds our core, builds our shoulders. So use your leg to measure how long your legs are. Place your hands down and walk your feet up the wall. Try to find 90 degrees at the hips. Pull your belly button towards your spine. Push the floor away with long elbows and lower down after about 5 breaths. Roll your wrists out. Take your time. That is all for our warm-up today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Safe practicing out there, yogis. Take as much time to pause the video, to keep your shoulders happy and healthy as you need throughout. Stay happy, stay healthy. Namaste.